Welcome to another episode of the Ganas Network podcast. This podcast is brought to you by ganasnetwork.com. On this podcast episode, we interviewed a very successful and very talented singer, songwriter from Southern California. This gentleman was touring all across the country with one of the top norteño saxophone groups in all of the U.S. And Mexico. And he shares a story of how he was able to progressively join some of the most elite groups here in Southern California, and his next plans and his future in the music industry. Enjoy the show, and thank you for listening. And if you enjoyed the podcast, please make sure you share this with a friend, and go to iTunes, hit Ganas Network, type it in, and please leave a review. Have a wonderful day, and enjoy the podcast.
Yo sé que no te importó al irte de aquí, me dejó llorando. Yo sé que te quiero más que un año atrás, lo que son las cosas. Esta vida sin ti no es nada, esta vida si tú no estás es desesperado, equivocado.
Welcome to another episode of the Ganas Network podcast. Omero Guerrero here in the house. We got a packed house today.
Yeah, I'm excited. This
We
is
have
Pablo.
Pablo,
and,
of course.
I'm real excited for the guest that we have today.
Yeah.
I just want to kind of jump right into it. Just
Yeah, man.
Open it up.
Myko, when I told you about my buddy here, my little brother, I kind of told you, like, I met this kid a couple years ago. He helped me a lot with my band. We were about to get signed with this label. Cool shit. And then he left to join this really successful group, and I let go of my musical dreams. So welcome to the show, Myko. Tell us.
What's going on, brother? Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's a pleasure. It's an honor to
Yeah,
be
man.
here. I haven't seen you in so long, man.
It's been a minute, brother.
I haven't even met Sophia, and I'm barely meeting her.
Yeah.
I'm so embarrassed, but thank you
It's
so much.
tight. And you brought Alex Espitia.
Alex Espitia.
Hello, hello.
I don't want to say ENG or anything like that, but welcome to the house.
Why not? Fuck it.
It's an honor. E&G in the house.
We have some musical, some musical gurus, some musical geniuses here. So it's gonna be fun, man. It's gonna be the fun musical pod.
It's gonna be fun.
We're gonna talk about.
We're gonna talk a lot of
The
shit.
truth about the music industry, the truth about traveling and groupies and herpes and all that stuff, man.
I apologize in advance for my language. I do tend to have a big mouth and say a lot of things I probably will not regret tomorrow, but it'll be fun.
You don't need to apologize. You haven't said anything yet. We're just getting started.
We're just getting started.
Well, so okay.
Well-
So let's go back real quick before we go into the story. So you said, because on the podcast nobody knows about this, but Omero, you used to have your own group.
Yeah.
You were in the music industry, right? For a minute.
For a
Or
minute.
You that was one
Brother,
of the things you
don't-
wanted to do.
Don't
For-
act like that. You had a badass band.
I had a band a couple years ago.
What
You
was
made
the
a
name
lot
the
of
group?
friends.
We had a group, La Tentación. It was norteño.
Norteño music.
You know, growing up, I always heard norteño music, but I didn't really want to do it. My first passion was like R&B.
Okay.
And then I looked in the mirror and I wasn't black, so I was like, okay, I'm not going to sing R&B. And growing up, you know, Los Cadetes de Linares, Omero Guerrero's my dad's family, so naturally I gravitated towards la música norteña, right? And I was like, how am I going to figure it out? I don't know. So I got together with some friends. We made a group, and we had a lot of struggles because I had an issues with different band members. I could never find a bass player. For some reason in Orange County, I couldn't find a good bass player that I can trust, because what happens in the music industry, Pablo, much like many business people, much like a lot of ambitious people, if I'm offering you an opportunity to maybe make some money and you say, okay, I'll join you, right? But then someone else that has a more established company or more established band comes and says, hey, we have gigs 4 days a week. That guy that was just in your band, he says, hey, man, sorry, bro, but this other group that plays 4 days a week, I want to go with them because you only play twice a week.
And they're gonna pay me more.
And they're going to pay me more. So I had that problem with my band, dude. I would lose a bajo sextero or a bass player. Fast forward a few years, I was about to quit with my band when we connected. I don't know if you remember. I was fucking done, dude. Like, dos o tres años, like, working, I was like, I'm fucking over it, man. Like, I have a good job. I'm making money. Maybe
need
this
this
music
shit.
thing,
You're
yeah,
like,
maybe
I'm
the
over
music
it.
thing wasn't for me. It was too stressful, and I wasn't getting that many groupies, bro, so I was getting over it, you know? Nah, just kidding. But
That's really the reason.
we connected through Facebook.
Yeah, we did. At that point in my life, I had just left one of the first bands I actually toured around the United States with. And we'll get into that
Right.
later, but Yeah.
So you guys connected through Facebook?
We connected. Well, he posted something about a job.
We didn't know each other, but we were friends on Facebook.
But we knew
mutual
of each other.
friends.
Mutual friends.
And we
okay.
had met before. We had met, right? We had met
At the gig that you guys opened up for my band.
Of course.
And I was a big fan of El Nuevo Golpe, which was the group that you were in.
I was in, yeah.
And we booked the same gig. And
Okay.
I met your whole band. Alex, you were there. Your brother and
Yeah.
Omero. Saludos. I know he
Saludos,
listens.
Froy, Jesse, everybody. Adan,
And
yeah.
we connected, right? And one time I was managing a call center and I needed a rep, so I posted something on Facebook like, if everyone's looking to make some money part time, you can make good money. And you hit me up on a chat, I think.
Yeah.
Because he was a musician, so he's not gonna post like, "Hey man, hook me up." No,
No.
so
Hook me up.
He was
I'm
smart.
thread
No.
with everybody else.
me mandó un mensaje privado and said, "Hey man, what do you do? What is it?" You know,
Like-
and I was kind of excited that it was him. Because
Right.
although he's like a lot younger than me, he was with the band that I always fucking listened to and I always wished my group could be like, right?
Right.
So I was like, oh, this motherfucker, oh shit, I could be friends with him. Maybe he'll
Celebrity.
maybe he'll introduce me to the rest of the band, right?
Right.
And that's not why I did it. You know,
Of course, no.
I was like, yeah, come over, we give
He's
you an
making
interview.
faces like he's like, really? Is that the real reason?
Yeah, and you know,
I would never think that.
I met you. By the way, you're from Santa Paula, California, right?
from Santa Paula.
Which
Shout
if
out,
y'all
shout
don't
out.
know, it's hella far from anywhere.
By
USA.
Oxnard, right?
It's by
near
Oxnard,
yeah.
Yeah, Alex is from Oxnard.
Alex,
Yes.
he's actually from Santa Paula as well.
Apoco, what?
Ventura.
Froy, they were like
I lived in Santa Paula a couple of years.
805, right? 805.
Oh,
805.
Hey, this guy's from what area?
Well,
Salinas.
help me out.
Salinas.
Salinas.
Salinas. Anything for Salinas.
So how do you like? What brought you down here today?
Today, well, my brother Omero, I mean, he helped me out in a time where I was really in this dark place. I didn't have a job. I wasn't going to school. I wasn't doing good with my family. I didn't have money. I barely had a car. And so, this dude opened up his house to me. I literally moved maybe like 2 days after
After you got hired.
with your roommate. I was sleeping on the couch.
Vincent Din, what's up, brother?
I know, Vincent. I love you, brother. And he just opened my eyes to so many new things that I hadn't gotten the chance to experience. Like, first of all, like pho, one of my favorite foods. But that's besides the point. Anyways, yeah, I got a job. We did the band thing. And, God knows why he does things. I got to go work with this band called Kumbre after that. And, life works in funny ways.
So you were living in Santa Paula at the time that you hit him up for a job?
Yeah, I was living...
And you knew I was in Orange County.
I knew he was in Santa Ana.
Yeah.
And I was living at my grandma's house. I was literally sleeping like on her like living room floor.
How big is Santa Paula?
Population
wise,
10,000 people.
10,000. So small town.
It's a small town.
Small town, and I come from a small town, so you have a small town mentality sometimes. So when you came down and you just decided to jump ship and say, I'm gonna go to Orange County for this job, when you say that he opened up a whole different world, is that what you mean? Like you were exposed to like everything down here, or had you already been traveling at that time?
I had just turned 18 at that time. So Santa Paula is a very Hispanic influenced town. So yes, I mean, I had never tasted certain foods or heard certain types of music. And he had opened, I had never worked with the Vietnamese. I didn't even know. Can you do me the honor of like
Doing the
please do it right now.
Do the disco dancing. Hey, go clean my car, you Mexican. No shit.
I love it.
I love it.
No offense to my Vietnamese family. I love y'all.
No offense at all. This is all in good.
So you just decided to just move.
I
over
got
here.
my car. I got my little 1990 Honda, 330,000 miles, and I grabbed my ass and my clothes and my chonies, and I left to Santa Ana the next day for my interview.
Yeah.
And I would sleep in his house, and then I would come back like a week after, go visit my family, and then I just decided I'm gonna rent a room.
Yeah.
My dad gave me a check for the deposit for my first room, and I lived out there.
Yeah.
And that's
And by the way, he got the job and he was so hungry. He had this burning desire. Although you never had call center, he never worked in a call center before. You never did sales before.
Never.
All you really knew was music.
that's all I ever knew.
But he was hungry. He was very coachable. And I was kind of worried because I know he had kind of like a little ego because of the music thing.
Right.
He was 18, traveling all over the country. He was already popular. People knew him. So you walked different. You weren't your typical 18-year-old that was working at an office. Tú ya tenías experiencia trabajando. You knew people. You made money, but in a different way. But he was very hungry, man, and he actually was doing really well. Wow. And it was cool. It was cool to see you learn, and I was like, oh, shit, homeboys.
And yeah, it's to this day, like, if I ever wanted to go get a job, I can always put down Alliance, and I know you're a great reference for me.
Yeah, it's cool. The managers, the one manager that I know kind of doubted him, ended up like loving him.
Oh yeah,
And then when you
Markel.
left, it was hard.
Yeah.
And she said, when you fucking want another job, you hit me up.
Shout out to Markel.
Yeah.
I still love her.
Yeah, she's like, you hit me up. I got you. It was cool, man.
That's cool, man.
But yeah, for me, it was a trip seeing him with Kumbre, man, because Kumbre was kind of like another level. They had a ton of work, man, like traveling every week. You were in a different city.
I mean, I don't think we ever stopped. I think we would get into arguments because we wanted to have a weekend off. Like, we wanted to have some vacation time.
So you
but
would
there
fight
was
on
just
purpose.
you know,
I guess kind of like, you know.
I want to give a shout out to Jose Lechuga, which he's a singer and one of my best boys, you know. And yeah, I mean, he has a big personality, and you know, God gave me a big personality, and we would clash a lot, yeah. But you know, we always came to the agreement that, you know, the band came first.
Yeah.
And we've worked like I had never worked my fucking life, and I made money, and yeah, it was a great time of my life. But I just almost felt like I didn't feel like it was me. I felt like I would go on stage and I was helping this dude, you know, one of my best friends now, you know, accomplish his dream, and I was just there kind of like
A background.
helping him. And I've always felt, like you said, it was funny that you said with the small town mentality. I always felt like I had this bigger ambition. You know, I always wanted to do something different, or even just make a difference, you know?
Right.
So, and yeah, I mean, I just thank God that I got the opportunities that I got, because I learned a lot. I made a lot of mistakes, but I'm still learning from them, you know?
So what made you get into the music industry? I know earlier, before we started, I asked you, you know, so how long you been doing music? You said, well, I've been doing music my whole life. But,
Yeah.
well, why don't you elaborate on that?
Well, let me tell you something. My dad has been a musician his whole life, and he's from a poor little rancho in Michoacan, Batuecas. Okay. Shout out to everyone in Batuecas, because I know a lot of people listen to that. I hated music, man. I hated music growing up. I hated the fact that my dad wanted to teach me guitar and wanted me to be a musician just like him. I hated it. He never put any like pressure on me, but I just didn't like it. I was young. I just wanted to play Pokemon, and I wanted to come and you know, I want to be with my friends. I wanted to chill out, but I knew I wanted to sing. I knew that in my heart my whole life. I've known that I've wanted to sing. And I was 14 one time, and my dad just asked me one time, he's like, dude, you know what? I'm just trying to start a band, you know? Like, I have an accordion right here. Why don't you give it a shot? And I was just like, fuck that. All right, let's do it. Let's do it. I have a neighbor. My dad's like, I have a neighbor right here who can teach you a little bit. And I just got that accordion, and it was like, I felt like it was magic. I just felt like it came so natural to me to just play an instrument. And I loved it.
Really?
I loved making money off it. I loved just being with my dad. Was always a great thing. Yeah, but growing up was no music. He would literally buy me guitars, and I would cut the strings.
Oh, shit.
So I wouldn't have to play it.
Wow.
I was a little fucking asshole like that, you know? Wow. If my kid came out like that, unas pinches nalgadas ahorita, qué chingas, cabrón. I swear, yeah. But yeah, my dad, definitely my idol. He's my number one. I love him. He's the reason why I am who I am today. One of the most humble people in my life.
What I want to know is, how did you go from 14-year-old picking up an accordion to maybe being in your first band, and then, you know, how did you progress getting into a group like El Nuevo Golpe?
Well, I'm just curious, because earlier when we were talking, you said that you were working at a job.
Yes.
And you just, something inside you said, fuck this.
Okay, so
tell me about that story.
When I was 14, I would play the accordion. I would join different bands, and I also joined Oscar from Conjunto Esperado.
Oh, that's right.
So I was with them for a little bit. So I kind of got a little
taste.
I was just a little kid.
Were you already playing at nightclubs by then?
Yeah, we played a
couple.
At
what age you were playing nightclubs?
I was 15.
And these clubs are 21 and over?
Yeah, I was 15 playing those clubs.
What a trip.
Nuevo Galope. Let me rephrase it. Nuevo Galope was my all-time favorite band of all time. It still is to this day. And I mean, when I first heard Froy's voice with Azabache, it was like, there's something there, man. I love this. Mm-hmm. I don't know what it is. He just, something about him. So I started posting up YouTube videos, me singing their songs. I had never met the guys. I mean, you have a perception of your idols, you know. You look at them and they're like, you think either, oh yeah, well they have money, oh, you know, they have everything, you know. Jesus, they're playing these big old nightclubs and stuff. I'm just this little kid, you know. And I get this call. I'm working at Domino's, and I get this call, and he's like, oh, is this Myko? And I was like, yeah, who is this? And he was just like, oh, my name's Freud. I was like, I almost pissed my pants. I was literally rolling a pizza. No. Actually, I was in the back room where they have the vegetables and stuff, and I almost pissed my pants. I was shaking. Then I quit my job that night, and I had my stepmom come pick me up. At that time, I was just playing the accordion. So he wanted me to go to Mexico and go on tour with them. He literally sent me a set list to go to Mexico. I was 17 at that time, I think. And I told him, bro, I don't have what it takes to go to Mexico. Dude, I can barely play Moño Colorado. Like, and Moño Colorado is like
Moño Colorado.
Like, it's classic, you know? And I met all these guys. I went to this party they invited me that Saturday, and I literally saw all the musicians that I've ever wanted to meet in my life.
Wow.
I was such a, and everyone can tell you, my family, everybody, I was just a big fan. And I met them, and I was just like, wow. And Freud, for some reason, I felt like I had a special connection with him, being that he asked me to teach me bass. I told him I knew a little bit, and he literally went to Santa Paula. He was living in Canyon Country. He went to Santa Paula the next day, picked my ass up. We went to go get his dad's 1975 Fender bass guitar,
the jazz,
which to this day still hurts me because they stole that bass from me. And it still hurts me to this day, I swear. And I can't even, yeah. But anyways, and I lived with him for probably like 3 months. I got close to his daughters and his family, and to this day I feel like I can still go, and I'm still welcome.
And he mentored you.
He mentored me. He taught me, you know, not vocally the little bit that I know now, but musically, he is one of the biggest influences I've ever had.
That's crazy. Imagine you're
idol,
working at Domino's one week, and then the next week you're partying with all of the people that you've ever looked up to.
I've ever looked up to.
That's crazy.
And at this,
that doesn't happen just by coincidence.
Well,
you can call that faith, man. I mean, or fate, I guess you can say, because how do you go from, you know, answering the phone and thank you for calling Domino's, and then it's your idol on the phone?
So if you would have never uploaded any of those videos on YouTube,
I don't think anybody.
You don't think anybody would ever found you?
No, I don't think anybody.
So wow.
No, the funny thing is that I felt like somehow they didn't like me because there were some incidents where I would post up a YouTube video giving them a shout out and singing a song, and I would see like comments from their musicians talking shit. And I'd be like, I would get sad, and I'd be like, oh fuck, well, they'd be like, oh, stop being a biter, you know, do your own shit, like things like. And I'm just like, dude, I'm just admiring what you guys are doing, you know, like fuck. And I said that day, I didn't get upset, but I was more like, just watch, motherfuckers, just watch me. And from there, I kind of grew. Music was 100% all the time. It was nonstop. Every day was practicing. Every day was. What's the next step? What can you teach me? What's next? Wow. When am I gonna play? When, you know?
And when after him teaching you all this stuff and you felt a little prepared or a little comfortable, what was your experience when you started performing with the group?
You know, the funny...
Más acoplados, because you can play with anyone and suck, but when you play with anyone and you can keep up with them and be like, I'm part of this group.
I think I had been training for about 2.5, 3 months. Training because the bass player that was there right at that time that I was going to replace, which I knew I was going to replace, obviously, and I don't mean to throw any shade on anybody, but they were having problems. The bass player decided to leave. They were not, and he's my friend Jesse, and I just want to give him a shout out, Jesse Griffin. I love him. I think he's a badass bass player, by the way. Let's not get that wrong. And that night we were playing at Lido's. I remember my first gig was at Lido's.
Southgate.
I had never practiced with the band before. The band didn't even know I was gonna join. It was just Freud's crazy mind, like doing these fucking random things. So I come and then they're like, "What the fuck is this foot doing here?" Like,
Who's
and
this
I
guy?
remember feeling like the band was just looking at me like,
Who's this little kid?
what the fuck? And I was just like, oh shit, I'm gonna piss my pants. And I was just like, yeah, and it wasn't the best show in the world. We all make mistakes. We all fuck up. If there's a musician who thinks that they don't make mistakes, I want them to stand in front of me and say that to my face, because that's not true. So, and that's what he taught me. He protected me a lot. A lot of people talk shit. A lot of people thought, why the fuck is this dude joining this badass band? And
maybe other musicians that have been playing for a lot longer maybe wanted to be with that band, and they're like, why is this kid from Santa Paula getting a chance?
There was a lot of I heard a lot of stuff, but I think everyone gets their opportunity when God thinks it's time, and I feel like I worked my ass off for a long time. So and I toured for them all over the United States. We had I think being with ENG, the funnest times were on tour. I think I was the one who slept the most during like the van rides. I think I could sleep for like 30 hours straight.
Really?
Yeah, I think I could sleep for 30 hours. And I don't know what else.
What are some of the crazy or funny stories that you can share from?
How old were you at this point when you're touring?
I was 17. I was about to turn 18.
Because
when you're touring with this,
when I was touring with El Novo Golpe.
A lot of people think, Pablo, especially if you don't have experience in the industry, because I learned this a couple years ago. I pictured it to be fun. Like, oh, you guys have a big tour bus like Shania Twain. Right. You guys have showers in this motherfucker. You guys have fridges and kitchens. Like, that's what I thought.
Yeah, you're all hooked up.
And then you see them roll up like 6 guys in an express van. Todos like sardine cans, right? Like those uncomfortable, bro. Wow. And that's local. What about when you have to drive to Colorado?
Well,
Texas. Like, what's that road life really like?
Well, with ENG, we always had a van, so it was rare when we flew. I think the only time we actually tried to fly, we were going to Durango, and my friend Baldo, our friend Baldo, he's always late. I'm just joking. But this time, he made us late, and we missed our Durango shows. We had to cancel that week. And I don't mean to throw shade on him either, but he knows it's fucking true. And I love you, Baldo, so much, just so you know. Shout out to Baldo Cabello. Papa. But yeah, touring the vans were uncomfortable, right? I mean, it was very uncomfortable. I think
how many
30
people
hours.
would go in the van?
7?
About 8. If Alessandra would come.
You guys were like in a Dodge Caravan or like a big old white?
No,
like a white,
passenger.
like a
50 passenger.
Yeah,
but they were still uncomfortable. Like we would take off a seat so we can put like blankets in the back, and I would just sleep back there. I said, "Fuck it!" I brought like 20 pillows. I didn't give a fuck. I swear. I mean, and the food. To this day, I still think about eating Subway. I still think about it when somebody says, "Let's go eat Subway." Because we ate so much fucking Subway on tour. I was fucking over it. I was done. I was like, I can't eat this anymore.
Is that why a lot of musicos get fat?
Oh yeah,
just road life.
They eat a lot after the shows.
That's right? Tacos after and eat cheves, no?
And beer.
And then go to sleep.
I think I got fat, to be honest, but I got fat because...
How big of a tour was it that you would take? Like, let's say, for example, in a 1 year's time frame, you're 17, about to turn 18. How many cities are you hitting? I mean...
We're hitting cities, maybe 2 cities a month. 2 or 3 cities a month, I think.
Out of state usually, or close to out of state.
When there was a lot of work, we would be home. We would only be home 2 days of the week.
This is different from Kumbre. So right now I'm just talking about when I was 17.
Yeah, that's how long.
Yeah,
that's
it was different.
So we would be home like Tuesday and Wednesday, and we would leave every Thursday and come back.
But if we didn't tour, we did work Thursday through Monday.
Right, locally. Because there's so many nightclubs here in Los Angeles.
We'd work. There was never
a
fight
night
other
off.
work. Yeah.
Right.
So there was money in touring. That's where I hear a lot of the musicians make.
There was
money.
a lot of work for us locally. A lot locally. Sorry.
So would you say you made more money locally than touring?
Than touring.
Oh,
With
okay.
ENG, yes.
Porque también ustedes, I wouldn't remember your guys' calendar. I couldn't keep up because on a Friday or on a Saturday they would play at one nightclub and drive to another one, bro. En una noche.
Sí. We were consistent. Sometimes there were 3 gigs a night, and we just had to. We just had to make it work.
Because they're like 1 hour sets, essentially. They go do sound check, or they get on the stage, así en caliente, and they get out and they jump in the van and go to another club across an hour away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people have kind of this vision of how they think the touring life is. A lot of people say it's difficult, which it is. But with us, we kind of had this chemistry where we clicked very much, and we laughed a lot. So there was a lot of laughter going on. And there were times where we were coming back and we didn't have salimos debiendo. Like, they didn't pay us at our gigs. We were going to Utah or somewhere, and we came back and we're like, fuck. We don't even have for gas. Like, we owe.
You lost money.
We lost money. Yeah.
Anytime.
So sometimes promoters.
We lost money.
say-
Sorry, I like moved. Sorry, guys. It's because I keep bumping into shit.
It's okay.
So the promoters wouldn't pay, or sometimes I'm sure there's a lot of shit.
There were times where there were no
people
people at the shows. I mean, let's be honest. There were no people at the shows, and so hey, you know what? It got canceled, and
We couldn't
And
pay.
you already drove, and
We
you
already
couldn't have
drove.
predicted that people weren't going to show up. So ya te la pelaste, essentially.
That's
You don't-
the
basically-
risk.
Yeah, that's the risk. Okay.
You always take a risk.
You always take a risk unless you're going with una garantía.
Right.
But that
Or like
rarely
if you're
happens.
touring, you're going on tour with Intocable.
Yes,
And
yes, of
and you guys opened up for Intocable. ENG did, right?
Yeah.
They did before I
Is that
joined.
before
the
you
band.
joined?
Before I joined.
So
the
that's the caliber of the band that we're talking about here. Is that
Yeah.
these guys opened up for Intocable, which if you guys don't know, they're one of the biggest norteño groups, both in the U.S. and Mexico, and that's pretty cool, man. And you got a chance to tour in Mexico too.
I did get to. Actually, I toured a lot in Mexico when I was with Kumbre.
Okay, crazy.
I didn't get the opportunity with ENG, but I did get the opportunity with Kumbre.
And you left the band. I remember you were kind of I remember. I don't know if you wanted to share this or not, but you almost wanted to quit like for a minute. You were like,
Yes, well-
you were burned out, bro. Because
I was burned out, and I think there's times where, even to this day, I feel like sometimes I'm just kind of like, why am I working so hard, and other people just don't see that. They don't want to work as hard as me.
as far as like your band members,
My band
or-
members, or if any other, even the nightclubs, they want to offer you such little money,
Right.
when you're working your ass off so hard, and
Right.
you're doing all this. But at that point, my end of my career with ENG, I was feeling kind of like, okay, I got to do something, because it doesn't seem like things are going right. Things were just going wrong. And that final day, we were on our way to Arizona, and whatever happened, people didn't show up or whoever, and we just decided, you know what, this is it. We're just kind of gonna do our own thing, and to me that it was heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking to know that my favorite band had to disband when I was there. But then again, then
And
you
you're
start.
only 18 years old.
Yeah,
when
I
this
was
is
18
happening.
at this
living the
point.
dream.
I was 18 at this point, but I feel like I was getting ready. I was training myself for bigger and better things.
Right.
Which is what happened.
That's
you know?
true.
Cool.
And then
That's
he
good.
joined La Tentacion,
And just things blew up.
just kidding.
No,
That was,
no.
but no, it was the biggest blessing when we connected, because you joining my band gave me enough belief to just keep on going a little bit more, and other doors opened up,
Dude.
musically for
Yeah.
me and for our band that we had at the time, and the
just the friendship, man.
friendships
Just the
that we've
friendship.
made through music. Julio Garcia,
Pulpo. Yeah. I wouldn't have met Pulpo. I don't think if it wasn't for you, to be honest.
and he's such a cool fuck. He's like
He's-
a brother.
yeah.
We're family. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the beautiful thing about the music industry is you meet some great fucking people.
Good contacts, good
great
people.
contacts. Que you may not even think 5-10 years down the line might come back and be a blessing, right?
Of course.
And it's the power of networking.
Mm-hmm.
It's the power of just building that relationship and being cool.
Yeah, when you bring up that networking, I think for the younger generation, I get a lot of comments and a lot of messages from younger musicians who look up to either me or the groups that I was with. And they're like, "How'd you do it?" Well, like, what'd you do, or
Right,
what's going on? And I can't just be like, "Oh yeah, well, I mean, I was a domino."
See, what you have to do is Floyd has to pick you up and you go live with him for 3 months.
Well, no,
and then
first he
after,
has to call you at Domino's.
First
So
he
go
has
get
to-
a job at Domino's.
Go get step one. Go get a job at
go
Domino's.
get it.
Step two. Go upload some videos on
Pick
YouTube.
up the phone.
No, what I have to tell younger musicians is that step out there. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to be judged. Don't be afraid of criticism. Use it to your advantage, because the only people that are gonna not benefit from that, because they're gonna look like fucking assholes, are the people that are saying it. So you use it to your advantage. You use it to grow, and you network. networking is very important. Meet new people, message them, bug them, go do what you got to do. Ask them, give me an opportunity just to go up there and play. If you suck, well, fuck, next time,
Right.
Just keep it going. You really love this music shit, the music shit's going to love you. Trust me.
So how do you, when you say network, what kind of...
Networking.
Well, what kind of places should they go network at? Because I'm a business owner, right?
Of course.
So I got to go promote my business. So we go to network mixers. There's mixers where other professionals, other business owners go promote their
That's cool.
business.
I didn't know about
There's
that.
a lot of stuff like that. So for me, I can go to meetup.com and find a bunch of places where I can go and, talk with other business owners and promote and try to get business from me.
Of course.
Where does a musician go and network?
Facebook. Facebook, Instagram.
You just start
Twitter.
adding people as friends, maybe, and then
That's
just
it.
reach out to them.
That's the only way I did it.
Yeah.
I don't know any other websites that.
Yeah, you're
really-
young.
Right,
You're young. You're the new millennial.
Everybody is doing the social media. That's what's running this thing now.
So is reaching out to like a promoter or a musician like, hey, here's my band, this is my information. Like they may ignore you at first, but if you're persistent, you know, that may open
or
some
even
opportunities
posting
for
up
you
a
guys.
video, like somebody's gonna watch it. Don't think that just because you have 100 views, one of those 100 views is gonna be somebody who actually cares about watching your video, and it's probably somebody important, because that's what happened to me. I only had 120, 150 views each video. Somebody must have was watching and talking,
Or somebody may have said, "Hey, I saw
Check
this
out-
kid who's got, who's doing your music. You should check him out." And then
Like this is actually a good cover.
that's all it
Check
takes,
Yeah.
There's this kid. that's
So
doing
I
this.
mean, don't give up. Don't ever give up. That's all I say. If you really care about this music thing, nothing's impossible.
Right, and then so you transitioned from Nuevo Golpe. You were working with me in the
I was
sales for
working
a little
with
bit, and then you got the opportunity to Kumbre Norteña.
Cumbre Norteña,
How
I
did
feel
that
like
happen?
that was just the point where it was just like, I cannot believe that this is really
That was
happening.
like the next level.
I felt like Freud, because I knew he was from Oxnard, which
Freud.
is like 20 minutes away. So I feel like, maybe one day I'll connect with
Right.
him. But Lechuga and Alex, and shout out to Fidel, to Eddie, to Rafa, everybody that I worked with, Rafael Guevara, Robert Wolcott, people.
L.A., Hollywood.
Those are real.
Right.
That's the real deal. Yeah. I just thought, wow, what the,
Right.
I was without words,
Yeah.
I got a call from.
You're like, how did this happen, huh?
Yeah, and one of my other, like, he wasn't my idol, but I felt like he was just like a god. Fidel Morales, shout out to him. He gave me a call and was just like, dude, there's this band, Kumbre, and I feel like we had just heard a year before they had just disbanded, So he wants to come back and, and he's interested in you. So I was just like, fuck. So I was thinking, wow, I'm going to walk into like this mansion and, all these things, and then we're going to practice all this. And we go in, and it was just humble, his family's so humble. Lechuga, God bless him, but we were practicing in his living room, and you can tell what he's thinking. He'll let you know.
Very
just
honest.
with his face, he'll let you know. And it got some used to. You know what? No, I'm lying. I did work with Lechuga, because I know I'm kind of backtracking, but when I left ENG, so the guys from ENG, we actually decided to help Lechuga, which is the singer of the Kumbre, do like this like 5-day tour.
Right.
Right?
You were
that's
just
how
his
I met.
band.
Yeah,
You were
that's
just-
how
yeah.
we were just Jose Lechuga from Cumbre Norteña on tour. That was,
Right.
Now, when they called me, again, it was Cumbre Norteña. And we just started working. We didn't have no work, really. We had a couple gigs every week. And, yeah, we just started working. And then all of a sudden, dude, so we're going to go in the studio. Like, we're going to do this. I was just like, holy shit, I'm going to record my first CD.
This is your first studio experience.
This is my first studio, first in studio actually being there to record the actual.
And this was with Rafael
Guevara.
Grammy winning producer.
Grammy-winning Dagum Records,
And
yeah.
you got to work with him.
I got to work with him.
and see what like a freaking crazy
What a
world
real-
class like studio.
What the real
That
deal.
guy's a master networker too.
And I'm honored to say that he's one of my
he's
really
a
good friends.
Good guy.
Yeah.
What kind of work ethic did these guys have
Oh.
for you being in the studio with somebody that's already well known, and you're in a professional studio and you're seeing these guys' real work ethic, because nobody really gets the chance
And also,
to see that.
and if I could add to that, what difference did you see in a leader of a band like Kumbre Lechuga, in his leadership style and how serious he takes his business
Mm-hmm.
versus another band that is in the same genre
ENG.
but nowhere
Is that what you're
near the professionalism?
Okay.
What did you
well,
learn
I don't know
or what
any
did
other
you take
bands.
from it?
I don't know any other bands. All I know is that Jose Lechuga takes his business very seriously. He's a businessman. He knows how to work his band, and he's been in the game 25 years.
Yeah.
You know, you don't just get that from not working.
Massive like
It's
Colmillo.
just- it's-
Like
yeah.
he knows what he's doing.
I feel like Jose Lechuga is a great person when it comes down to, like, I don't even know how to say it. Like, he's an amazing person as a friend. As a businessman, he's very strict. He wants
High
perfection.
standards.
He wants perfection.
Right.
And, I feel like that kind of rubbed off on me.
Right.
Because I feel like I'm a perfectionist now, because I feel like I've been through, like, that kind of
Training.
You watch.
I'm
Preparation.
trying to say it like the nicest way I can,
Yeah.
I mean,
Hey,
I'm not trying to
say
put
what you're trying to
anyone
say.
down, man. No. Okay. I don't know how to say it. I'm trying to go back to the question where the difference. Jose Lechuga is one of the best leaders that I've ever worked with. Business, jobs, school. He's taught me a lot about
Real
the
deal.
business, and he's real humble about talking to certain people about it. And I feel like I'm one of those certain people. Like, there's people he doesn't trust a lot of people, is what I feel. He won't talk about this if, like, he was just, maybe if he was here, I don't feel like he would be talking
Well,
about his
entre
business.
más fama, the circles get tighter. and
Of
tighter.
course.
Oh yeah,
You know,
mandatory.
you're allowed to see different things and hear and meet different people. So to be able to be around those people,
It was definitely a lot more professional than when I was touring with ENG. No offense to anybody, but yeah,
it was like
definitely,
no fucking around with him, huh? Like,
there was no fucking around,
Right,
and
yeah.
and people noticed that. I was on stage scared shit because
Oh, yeah,
I
I
did
could
not
tell.
want
I
to
could
fuck
tell.
up.
I could tell.
I didn't want to
if
fuck
you
up.
missed one no, this guy had such an ear that if you missed one no, he turned at you like motherfucker.
Yeah.
And
look.
but the show must go on.
Yeah, and with ENG, there was so much freedom. I felt like my the little talent that I have, I could just, all right, we can try something new live.
Right.
But him, no.
So
you
with-
had to play it the way it was. That's when I first started singing
With Kumbre.
with Kumbre, professionally. Like, that's when I didn't know what I was doing before. I was just singing because I liked singing. And yeah, I got a lot of earfuls, about my vocals, and he pushed me. I would ask him, hey, you give me all this shit about singing, but how do I do it to learn? And the only thing he's ever told me is like, you just gotta sing, bro. You just gotta sing. Sing nonstop, all
Right.
day, every day.
That's so funny.
And that is the truth. I know.
Before I started La Tentación, Freud was one of them, and Lechuga, Jose Lechuga, he has some of the highest vocal range in norteño music. Like, along with, like, Conjunto Primavera,
Right.
very high, but clean and strong. And I wrote to him, I think it was on MySpace, it was before Facebook. And I said, how much would you charge for voice lessons? And he ignored me. And, like, a month later, hi, I saw you at, like, Mi Hacienda La Puente, and I wanted to ask you, would you do lessons? And if you did, what do you charge per voice lessons? I want to learn how to sing. Ignored me. So I finally saw him in person, and I went up to him. Hey, my name's Omero, and I wrote to you a few times. Maybe you don't log in, but I wrote to you, and I wanted to know, like, if you did voice lessons, I'd love to learn from you because you're really, really good. He goes, just sing. I'm like, I get it, but what type of vocal exercises should I be
Just
doing?
sing.
Is there a program I can download or something? He goes, like, well, you just need to sing. It's a muscle. So the more you use it and the more you work on it, the stronger it's going to get. Just sing, and that's it. I'm like, but if I wanted to, like, sit down with you for a weekend and practice and do some different things, it seemed like he was in a very direct and way, without being too rude. He was just like, just do it. And that's exactly what you just said.
Yeah, and
you were in his band,
I was in his band.
and he gave you the same answer.
He gave me the same answer. He's always given me
you go.
the same answer, but I feel like even being live, if I was off tune, I felt like the next time I was not going to be off tune that note. So I felt like that was my practice. I felt like we're going to sing the same songs fucking 20 times. I can only fuck up once. And the next time I will not fuck up. And to this day, I still get off tune and stuff, and it's hard, trying to play bass and keep the timing and sing and think about the next song. It's tough to do.
You're multitasking,
Yeah.
big time,
It's
man.
tough,
Winking at the girls,
Yeah.
fucking
The
clenching your cheeks so it looks nice
Well.
and tight on your tight pants.
Well,
And you were with Kumbre for a few years.
I was with Kumbre for almost 2 years. Almost
And
2 years.
You were in the music video that was like professionally shot video.
We
That was
got
cool.
signed with Empire Productions, which was were the people who discovered Luis Coronel.
Okay.
Major
and-
artist right now.
Yeah, he's a major artist right now. And yeah, we got the opportunity to film a music video. We got the opportunity to do the album, and we started touring Mexico. And I feel like that was probably the best experience I will probably ever have, or I've had so far, you know? Mexico.
Why do you say that?
Because there's just nothing like going... The shows out there in Mexico are nothing compared to the shows here. The love that people have for music out there it's so...
Different passion. Right?
I don't even understand it. I don't even know how people know every single song, sing every single song. And I'm talking about sax music. It's not a big genre, our LA style, you know? And people out there would come up to me, and I was a Kumbre, and they would be like, oh, you know, Freud, this and that, and Omero, and all this stuff, oh, and Fidel. And I'd be like, oh, yeah. You know, like, I didn't, you know.
Like, how do they know this?
How do you... How,
And through social media and YouTube, they know you know
Yeah.
these people because you were on stage with them.
That's it.
That's crazy. And that's a trip because this is a little band from LA
Right.
touring in Mexico where there's thousands of people singing all of your songs.
Yeah, and not just one state. We were going from Mexico City to Oaxaca, driving 17 hours to Jalisco, to Guanajuato, you know, Durango, wherever we were going. It was always something. We were working. There was always something working. So I'm very grateful and I'm very thankful for these guys giving me the opportunity to do that, because I feel like not a lot of people get that opportunity.
And
What
you know-
about? Well, let me ask
Yeah,
this
go.
question real quick, because you said you're driving, you're touring. So your first experience, right, in the white van, going around eating Subway all day.
Oh yeah.
What was the experience like this time in Mexico touring?
Oh
in
wow.
Mexico?
Well,
Like I'm curious. What was the difference? You know?
Well, with Kumbre, the difference between ENG and Kumbre was that I flew most of the time.
Okay.
So I was flying in and out, LAX, in and out. So I was going out there, and then they would rent a van, and it was just 5 of us. With ENG, I think it was like 6 or 7.
Right.
And
So a little more comfortable.
oh yeah, and the guys, I feel like I had a better connection with Kumbre, you know, because I don't really know why, to be honest, but I
Would it
felt
be
like,
kind of because like you guys were the employees and you guys kind of more like are on the same page? Did that have anything to do with it? Because you have always been a leader this whole fucking time. You know, you had your first band,
of course,
Ultima Prueva,
Yeah.
when you were 14,
Yeah.
15. You started your own band with your sister and your cousins. And then you did your own thing with ENG. So you really always secretly wanted to do your own thing.
I always knew that I was destined for better things, and I felt like I was a leader. With Kumbre, I felt like, yeah, there was some sort of ego there. I felt like, yeah, damn, I'm in this fucking badass band. Like, yeah, like, what? You're talking shit, and what? And then when we go on stage, everyone shuts the fuck up.
Right.
You know,
Right.
there was a big difference.
Right.
With ENG, it was a lot more liberal. It was a lot more loose. There was a lot more opportunity to kind of just chill out. You know? Since, yeah, I kind of lost my train of thought. I'm sorry.
So you get out of Kumbre, you decide.
I got out of Kumbre. Actually, I was dating my ex-girlfriend. Shout out to her. And
What's her name?
her name is Marisol.
Saludos, Marisol.
Perez, yeah. And, you know, Marisol, also her mom. And all the horoscopos, everybody, you know, shout out. Yeah, I was dating them, and we were just having this there was no connection between, I feel like business and personal were kind of mixing in. And there's a lot of stuff
Well,
that
your situation was pretty specific. And, you know, I'm sure we won't go into the details, but you were involved, and it was you, because of the band and because of your girlfriend, it did get personal, right?
Yeah, I did get personal.
And after that is kind of when you...
You know, we left like on a, you know, not on the greatest note in the world, but I was more sad that I was losing a friend. I felt like I was losing a friend, and the band, I mean, literally, I was the last one to quit. Everybody had already quit. So Fidel and Eddie had left. Oh no, Lechuga fired Rafa, and then Fidel and Eddie left, and then it was just me with all the ex-Kumbre You know, so to me it was kind of weird.
Because then you're the oddball when it's like the original guys.
Yeah, I was the oddball, but I felt almost like I was original. Like it was a comeback. I felt like I had to stand up for my boys, you know? I didn't feel comfortable no more playing with them. And I feel like Lechuga feels the same way, you know? But everyone has their own opinion.
And did you take a break? Because I remember there was a point when you stopped with Kumbre and you were like, well, Mary, you were in some crossroads. You weren't sure because you're like, man, I don't really know what I'm doing right now in my life.
Yeah.
Do I go back to school? I really want to go back to school, but I don't know what the fuck to study. Music's my passion.
Yeah.
I love music. Or do I take a break? And I remember that's kind of how we left things off. And then you're like, I'm doing my band again.
Yeah. Well, my band, man, my band. Shout out to, you know, all my guys, Noe, Alex, Brian. My little sister is also my band.
Right.
She's my
That's
saxophonist. Cool. And I just saw these guys with so much fucking talent, dude. So much love for the music. And
in your hometown?
In my hometown, you know, I felt like these guys are talented, in my opinion. And yeah, I just decided, you know what, fuck it. I'm not gonna do anything else for the rest of my life. So fucking let's suffer it and let's do it. I know we can do something. And you know, I don't think you know this, but we just paid off our album right now, so we're about to finish it this week.
Very nice.
I know we're in. Yeah, thank you. And I'm very excited for my first album, music videos and different things that are projects that we're working on. So everything's kind of just falling in now.
Right.
Everything that's going on. So I feel like, and to this day, like Jose Lechuga, I recorded a song with him on my new album. And yeah, I have a couple other artists that are going to be coming in and out.
Guests.
So we have a couple surprises. Right. I just don't want to get into it right now just because I want to keep it surprise.
That's right.
But you know what's to bring back the whole networking thing? Some of the most successful, talented studio musicians have been supporting this guy for years.
Yeah.
Very nice.
I want to give a shout out to Julio Garcia, to Pulpo, Jesse Esquivel, Rafael, for always just giving me Poncho, come on. Everybody. Who else? Joey, Mono, everyone who's helped me on the productions. You guys are badass, man.
So are you currently signed to a label? Is this all being done independently? Like,
we are in the process of signing right now. I have a business partner who's helping me invest in the band, so we're working on that. So we'll definitely keep everybody updated. But cool. I'm very excited for what this year. I feel like this year finally.
It's the coolest thing, dude. Because what people don't know is that behind music, there's great musicians, and a lot of the times when a guy has an idea, like Myko, it takes a team of people to put shit together and record some beautiful music in the studio. But what's most impressive is when you have your band and they crush it live. And I've been watching a lot of your videos on Facebook. You guys post a lot of your band is really, really good on social media. I love that. You guys are a young band, young look, modern look. It's not your typical norteño con botas y tejana like, you know, most people think of norteño music.
Oh, yeah.
It's something different, you know, similar to the styles of like back in the day, ENG, you know, funky, cool, different. You know?
I take everything that I've learned. There's always influences in my music. So I've always said to myself, I'm like, I'm not going to be a Lechuga, and I'm not going to be a Froilán, and I'm not going to be a Ricky Munoz or a Tony Melendez. I got to be a fucking Myko, you know? I got to do my own shit, and I got to create this new style. I know it's going to take time, but, man, these guys have so much talent and so much love for the music that I feel like it's just always about the music with us, you know? It's never nothing personal. We have our issues. Obviously, it's family.
Yeah.
My cousin, my best friend, my sister, you know? It's crazy.
Your band is a family affair, huh?
My band is a family affair. I feel like, you know, it's a remake of, like, Selena Los Dinos, you know? Like, I feel like I always keep that in mind. I take Selena and what she has done and said into consideration, like, you know, family, you know, being a good influence and doing things like that, you know.
But
and we've recorded Selena songs too.
Who better to have success with than with your own family?
Exactly.
You know? That's tight.
That's
cool. Not only are you living your dream and you're pursuing your passion, but you're doing it with the people that you love the most.
So I'm curious, your dad got you started in this music industry. How does your dad feel about your music career right now and what you've been doing? Like, is he trip out like, wow, my son? Because I know if I was touring with a group that my dad knew about that was big and on the radio and a Grammy-winning group, my dad would be like, "Fly says Mijo." Like, that's like the coolest, I think, orgullo as a parent when your son follows in your footsteps and does what you're doing. Where's your pops at right now as far as his support for you and your career throughout these years? Does he kind of encourage you keep on going, or is he like, what are you doing? You know, like what's up with?
I actually had a conversation with my dad a couple weeks ago, and it started off. You know, we were talking about Lechuga and with Freud and everything that has happened, and he just looked at me and he was just like, you know, I can't believe that after all these years, you and your sister, you know, made it. Even and he brought up, you know, me ripping the guitar strings and, you know, being like, dude, like, what the fuck?
Cabrón.
Yeah, definitely. No, and I feel like almost like my dad's dream has come true. I feel like my dad's dream was to watch his kids do music. I feel like me and my dad cannot have a conversation without talking about music. I don't think I would have a good relationship with my dad if it wasn't for music, to be honest.
Wow.
I'm not saying that because I think he's a bad person or because I think I'm a bad person. I just feel like me personally, I'm not trying to say I don't get along with people, but I'm just it takes a very unique person para aguantarme. I'm a very kind of, I don't know how to say.
Well, you know,
I wouldn't say special.
A lot of dads bond with their kids over something.
Sports.
You know, whether it's sports, whether it's cars.
Yeah.
For you, it's music.
Yeah.
So there's nothing, you know.
No, there's not. And I'm so thankful, you know.
You guys got a good relationship and the bond is
I think my
music.
dad's real happy with us. I think my dad is he was telling me actually that he walks down the street and he'll see some people and he'll be like, "Oh, tus hijos que están tocando, que acá, que cómo está Myko y que cómo está," because my real name is Miguel.
Right.
For anybody that doesn't know, Miguel Ángel Valdovinos.
Secret's out.
Yeah, and everyone calls me Myko, and now everybody calls me Myko. So yes, I prefer Myko. If anybody.
That's the artist name, huh?
That is my artist name, yeah.
So what's next for 2016 with you as a musician and, you know, with your band? I know your band's your baby, man. You put your heart and soul into this. Not just even about the time and the money, man, but you really put your heart into it. What's next, man? What are you planning on accomplishing this year?
I am ready for this album. I am ready to show people, you know, our talent as a band and to play live. I'm ready to start touring, you know. I'm ready to go out there and just... to me, it's like... I feel like you have to go out there first so people can kind of start hearing you. You got to fail to succeed, you know. I feel like you got to fail a lot of times until you succeed. And that's what I did. I feel like I failed so many times and I've gone through so many hardships that when the good stuff came, it's like, fuck, it's fucking worth it, man. It really is worth it. And I'm so happy and I'm so proud of my band. And I just want to give out a couple shout outs to my cousin Julio, to Jenny, because I told them I would. To everybody out there in Santa Paula, Oxnard. I love you guys. Honestly. And everyone who has supported me since the beginning, to be honest. Everybody on social media. I recognize you guys and I try to teach you guys as much as I can. And be as humble as I can.
That's always. What's up, dude. And if people hear through this podcast that didn't know you before, how can they connect with you? How can they find your music so they can kind of start checking out what you're doing, Definitely. Support it? You know, first off, support the band. You know, download the music.
Always.
Legally, iTunes, pay for it. Don't be cheap.
Support your artist.
Yeah, of course. So we do have Instagram, we do have Twitter, we do have Facebook, and it's all under La Ultima Prueba, and it's a prueba with V, as in Victor, not prueba with B. A lot of people get upset because they're like, "Oh, why are you spelling it wrong?" Well, I was 14 when I was writing this name, so
I didn't know how to
and I'm a pocho, so yeah, prueba. If y'all, just so y'all know, my Instagram Myko, and from my Instagram you can find everybody. My sister plays sax. Alex is my drummer. Noe's my cousin, the bajo sexto, and Brian's my accordionist. You can find us, and yeah, Ultima Prueba.
That's what's up.
Expect a new album.
Anything out here locally in Southern California where you're going to be performing?
Oh, of course. We play at Mi Hacienda La Puente a lot. They've supported us since the beginning. Armando. I think that's about where we play
Locally
LA, yeah.
Out here now.
because
We'll play it once in a while.
You guys do a lot in Oxnard. That's
We
your,
do a lot,
that's your
yeah.
market.
We do a lot of rubies out there and Gramo de Oro. Shout out to David from EM Music. He's my business partner. And yeah.
Cool.
This is gonna be a special year, man, and thank you, man, for making time. And you actually have a gig tonight.
I do. I'm actually gonna go help out my boys from Kumbre Norteña.
Wow.
Shout out to them. The bass player, he had to go visit his kids in Washington, so they asked me if I could. And he's actually Lechuga's texting me right now. He's like, "Where the fuck are you? Why'd you change your number? Like, what's going on? Like, are you gonna go?" Like, yeah, I'm like, dude, relax. We'll see you there. But yeah, Hacienda's like my home, so I've spent a lot of time there.
Some of the greatest bands in Norteño music have played there.
Have stepped
have
that
gone
stage.
through there and
Yeah.
kick it there.
You know, the funny thing is, I used to take my grandma when I was in Kumbre touring there. I used to take my grandma every weekend. So the bartenders, the meseras, everyone knew her. The DJs, everyone. And they to this day they will still ask, "How's your grandma?"
You know, I remember the stories, bro, before we end it. And I was like, man, this fool loves... This is how I knew he loved music. You would drive from Santa Paula to play in La Puente and then drive back home.
Yeah, I did that
All the time.
Pretty,
a lot.
That's pretty gangster, bro.
More than once a week. It was like a lunes, jueves,
There was
sábado.
a point. No, there was a point where I was playing every day of the week, maybe twice or three
And
times.
commuting 2-3 hours each way.
And I was
every day.
going back home, and I was going to school, and I was taking care of my 5-year-old niece, which had to go to preschool the next day.
What's your excuse out there?
Right?
You're
How
just
bad
sitting
do you
on
want
your
it,
ass.
right? You're going to either
That's
work
tight.
your ass off or you're going to
you
make
don't.
excuses and
Exactly.
that's it.
And if anyone has questions on social media, I'm not an asshole like everyone thinks. I will answer back if I have time. I'm more than happy to help you guys out.
You reply
and give
with your
tips
fans,
with a
you
little bit.
reply to
Always.
everybody.
I always try to. Yeah.
That's
I mean,
awesome.
I'm a funny guy. You know, I have a big mouth and I like to talk a lot of shit, but I try to be as humble as I can, as much as my dad, you know, taught me. I just want to give a couple little more shout outs
Go for
to
it, go for
AB, Lalito, to all the boys out there, to the Rosies. They're gonna make them. It's gonna be happy. So they're gonna be happy. So.
Yeah, and you know what?
Hey, support the Ganas network. I will be posting this every single day. Check it out. These guys are amazing. Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Pablo and Omero. You guys are fucking awesome, dude.
No, I appreciate you.
Hey, man, we
Had a great
appreciate
fucking
you.
time.
Since we launched the podcast, you don't see us post because you guys aren't connected, which you should. But since
We will.
We will.
Since
Definitely.
we launched the podcast, Pablo, he's been sharing every episode. Like, support my boy Omero. They're doing
Really?
something great.
Wow.
And you know, I'm thankful for that. You know, like you
That's
didn't. I
awesome.
didn't ask you to do that.
I always
He
try.
just did it. I would be like, "Hey guys, I'm launching a new project." This guy, like seconds, like without hesitation, like,
Boom.
"Hey, support my boy Omero." Like,
That's awesome.
my brother Omero's doing this. You know, so thank you for the love and support.
Always.
You know, I always have your back. You know, we did that music video. I'm ready to do something else, man.
Dude, we're gonna do it, dude. I'm
camera's-
so ready. I'm so happy, and we might have a couple changes in the band, but they're good changes. Nobody's leaving. We might be getting some extra people, but it's all for the music, and it's always been about the music, guys. And we have nothing but love for you guys, and thank you guys for supporting us. Honestly,
That's what's up, guys. I definitely want, before we let the podcast end here, I want to thank our sponsors. Very, very important, Metro Fund Financial, for all you guys out there that need help with your credit. Maybe you lost your house. Maybe you lost your car. Maybe you have too many negative accounts. Make sure you guys go to metrofundfinancial.com. These guys are the credit experts. There's a
Yes,
bunch
sir.
of guys out there. I've seen a lot of people on Facebook claiming to be so-called experts, and then other people immediately comment saying, this is a scam, this is bullshit, I paid them, they do nothing. Metro Fund Financial's real deal. Metrofundfinancial.com. Our second sponsor is J&R Landscape, commercial residential landscaping services in Southern California, jrlandscape.co. You guys, make it a great week. We're going to have a dope song here for the intro and the outro for Ultima Prueva, so you guys know what it is. Enjoy, repeat, and share this shit.
Lunes con ganas.
Push!
Que son las cosas.